Hello everyone, welcome back to Engineering 100. Today we're going to be taking a look at the assignment in module number 6. And the assignment, of course, is assignment number 5, loans. I'm doing a video presentation for you, or video overview rather, of assignment number 5, loan calculation demonstration. So before you actually click here, what I'd like you to do is I'd like you to download your assignment. So you'd simply click here, and then here's the document that you need to download before proceeding and clicking on the video link. I've already downloaded it, so I'm going to click here and I'm going to show you what I've downloaded. And this is your assignment. It should say assignment number. Actually, it'll say number 5 up here. We haven't changed it, so I'm going to change it to 5, just as not to confuse anybody. And I've got a point ticker over here on the right-hand side that will show you how many points you currently have out of 60. It's kind of a nice way to do things. So I'm going to click here, and I'm simply going to put my name in, just so you can see that as I type my name and I strike the enter button, I should get a point over here. And voila, I got a point. All right, so the instructions are here. Where you're going to actually complete the assignment is down here, and you can kind of see it scrolls off, and it's a little awkward to work in. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to unfreeze the panes. If you're unfamiliar with unfreezing the panes, if you're on the Home tab, you move your mouse over to where it says View, and you select View. And then you're going to go to the Freeze Panes button, and you'll select it, and then you go to Unfreeze Panes. And then as you scroll up and down, the whole screen will scroll up and down. So let's begin by reading the reason for the loan table. It says college students graduating from U.S. universities have often accumulated $35,000 in loans. In recent years, the interest rate on these loans has been 4% APR, that's annual percentage rate, and have a common repayment plan to pay back the money over 10 years, so this is how long it's going to be. Such a loan would have a monthly payment of $354.36. Okay, so it's a monthly payment like most things are. So we're going to scroll on down here. We're going to start entering the data. And as we enter the data, I'd like you to pay close attention to the ticker. So we might have to scroll up and down every once in a while to make sure we're getting our points. So after you enter something, make sure that you go up here and you see if you got credit for it. If you didn't get credit for it, perhaps you entered the wrong number, the wrong formula, or you misspelled something. So let's start with the loan amount. The loan amount is $35,000. So I'm going to type in 35,000, hit the enter button. Look at it, it added the dollar sign for you so you don't have to do anything. We've pre-formatted these, some of these cells for you. The annual percentage rate is 4%. I'm drawing that right from up here. So I'm simply going to type a 4 and strike the enter button. And you notice that you didn't have to type in the percent sign. It automatically did it for you. The periodic interest rate is the interest rate per period. So how many periods are in a year? Well, there's 12 periods in a year. So what we need to do is we need to take the annual percentage rate and we need to divide it by 12. And that way we can calculate how much interest we're being charged on per month. So I'm going to scroll up here a little bit just so you can see it. And I'm going to click on the cell right here. And I'm going to create a formula. So I'll click equals. I'll click on the 4%. And then I'm simply going to divide by 12, right? The number of periods in a year. Okay, the term of the note, or how long we're going to have to make payments, if you look up here in the instructions, it says we have to pay it back over 10 years. So I'm going to click in this box, and I'm going to type a 10, and I'm going to hit enter. And then just as kind of a check, I'm going to scroll up. Yep, I have 6 points, so it looks like I've done everything right. Number of periods in a year. Well, how many months are in a year? So once again, you're going to enter the number 12. So we'll type a 12, and we'll hit enter. Did our points go up? Yes, they did. Total number of periods. Well, how many periods total for the loan? How many total payments are you going to make? So that's equal to 10 times 12. So you're going to enter a formula right here. So I'll click equals. And I'll click on the 10 first. And I'll use the asterisk to multiply. And I'll click on the 12. And I'll strike the enter button. All right, so far so good. Now, if you've been noticing, some of these cells have little triangles in the upper right-hand corner. And those are called comment statements. And we've got some additional instructions in here that kind of clarify things for you. And this cell has one right here. So this one says the entry must be made using the payment function. So we have to put a function in there. We don't want to just go up here and copy this $354.36 and put it in the cell. It won't give us the right answer because this loan amount isn't exactly 354.36. It's 354.36, and then there's some other decimal places that will continue on. So anyway, let's go over the payment function. So click in the box if you're not there. And where's the payment function at? It's under the Formulas tab at the top. So I'll go up to the Formulas tab and I'll click the Formulas tab. And then you've got a list of icons to select from here. And so we've got auto sum, recently used, financial. So it's probably under financial since it's a payment. So I'll click here. And the function that I'm looking for is PMT. So I'll scroll on down. And there it is. Not PPMT, but PMT. So I'll select it. And I get this dialog box that pops up. And I'll kind of scoot it over here, kind of next to my numbers. And it says rate. And if you read right here, it says rate. Is the interest rate per period for the loan? Well, this is the periodic interest rate. It's the 0.33%, not the 4%. So I'm simply going to click on it. Got my first value in there. And then I'll move down to the second box. And if I read down here, it says NPER is the total number of payments for the loan. So how many payments are you going to make over the life of the loan? Well, if you pay the minimum amount, it's going to be 120. So I want to click on the 120 here. And then what's the present value? How much do you currently owe? Now, the amount that we currently owe is this $35,000. But I want my payment to come out as a positive value. If I simply put in or click on the $35,000 and I don't put a negative sign in preceding this 12, my payment is going to show up as a negative number. Let me just show you. Okay. So here it is. It's a negative number. It's showing everything in parentheses. So I do want to change that value from a positive C12 to a negative C12. So I'm going to go up here to the status line and I'll put my mouse here and I'll click and I'll put a minus in. And now I've got a payment that's shown up as a positive number. And this is going to aid me when I put this number in my spreadsheet down here. All right. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to put some labels in. So we need a label in here, 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 and here. And up here it says table column locations and labels. It says in cell A22 we're supposed to have payment number. So I'll click my mouse here and I'll type in payment number and a period. And before I strike the enter button, I'm going to move up. I've got 14 points so far. I'm going to strike the enter button. And did I get an additional point? I got an additional point. All right. So I've got some other labels to enter here. I'm going to pause the video, enter them so you don't have to watch me type. Okay, I've got my remaining labels typed in and my point ticker scooted on up. So what do we put in next? Here's the payment number 1. And then if we look right beneath here, I'm going to put my mouse here. It says must be a formula, not a number. Now, let me show you the wrong way to do this. If you clicked on this and then you copied, right? I'm going to move my mouse and get the fill handle, and I'll just copy down a few. I get 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. If I put my mouse here and I click fill series, look, it'll automatically count for you 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. But we don't want to do it that way because it said that we needed to do it with a formula. So what do we want to do? We want to take the contents of number 1. We want to add a 1 to it, which would give us a 2. And then if we take that formula and we copy it all the way down to the bottom of the list, we should get the desired effect. So I'm going to click the equals button. I'm going to click on the 1. I'm going to put a plus sign in and hit the enter button. And we'll try it again. Equals, we'll click on number 1 and I'll put a plus 1 in. Okay, worked the second time, sorry about that. Now I'm going to click on the number 2. I'm going to put my mouse on the fill handle. You notice how my mouse changes from a big open white cross to a smaller black cross. Click, hold my mouse button down, and I'm going to copy this all the way to the bottom of the spreadsheet here. And we want to go all the way to here. And if you did it right, that number right there should say 120. So now we've got that in there. Principal before payment. So how much money do we owe? It's going to change every month, but how much do we owe initially? Well, we initially owe $35,000. Now what we want to do is we want to take this value and we want to transfer it to here. Because if we didn't know $35,000 and we wanted to change it to $36,000, everything in our spreadsheet would update automatically if we do that. If we simply type the number, it only works for 35,000. So I'm going to click here, I'll hit the equals button. I'm going to click on the 35,000 and strike the enter button. And now I've transferred that value down there. Now what we need to do is we need to calculate the interest rate. So before we do that, I want to explain the difference between relative cells and absolute cells. So I'm going to switch here to my tab that I created for you. It's called Video Presentation. So I'm going to switch. You won't be able to do so, so you just get to watch. So I've created a couple of tables here. And I've got payment number 1 through 4 and payment number 1 through 4. And I've got something that says relative, and I've got one that says absolute. So what I want to do is I want to take this 45,000 and I want to multiply by 4%. And I want to put the answer here. And then I want to take the 20,000, multiply by 4% and put the answer here, and so on and so forth. So let me do the first one. So I'll click equals. I'll click on the 45,000. I'll put an asterisk in, and I'll click on the 4%. And what did I get? Well, 1,800 is the correct answer. Okay. We know that Excel has some smarts built into it, and when you take and you copy a formula, it'll automatically fill these in. And what I want it to do is I actually want it to multiply by 4% every time. So let me copy. And you can see that I got zeros. Because when I incremented from here to here, I incremented from here to here. So let me show you the cell formula. So this one right here takes the contents of B6, which is the 45,000, and it multiplies by F3, which is the 4%. This cell right here takes the contents of B7, which is correct, and it multiplies by F4. So it went down to an empty cell, and so on and so forth. So this is an empty cell. It's basically a 0. This is a 0, and this is a 0. And so what we want to do is we actually want to hold this 4% constant. And we can do that by entering these cell locations just a little bit differently. So let me turn the cell formulas back off. And I'll move here and I'll select this right here. And I'll create a formula that will actually work now. So I'm going to hit the equals button. I'm going to click on the 45,000 just as I did before. I'm going to put the asterisk in. And I'm going to click on the 4%. And if we look at the formula up here at the top, it's still the same formula we had before, but what I want to do to hold F3 constant is I want to put a $sign before the F and a $sign before the 3. Now you can click with your mouse and you can enter them, or you can click with your mouse and simply tap the F4 key and it'll put the $signs in there for you automatically. Now I'll hit the enter button. I get a 1,800 just as I did before. And now when I copy this, I get the appropriate numbers, and let me show you the cell formula. So I'm holding the control button down, and I'm going to tap what they call the tilde key, so control and tilde. And you can see that it's F3, 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 and F3. So far, so good. So I'll get rid of the cell formulas. I'll hold the control button down. I'll tap the tilde key. I'm going to switch back to the loan payment table. And I'm running out of time on the Screencast-O-Matic. It only goes to 15 minutes, and I'm at 13 minutes, 35 seconds, and I will not be able to finish it on this video presentation, so I'm going to have to break it up into yet another video. So let me go ahead and finish this.